So we start off with our initial weigh-in here today. And to do this, we put them in a tote and take them over by the scale. This keeps us from having to chase them around to catch them and figure out which ones we weighed and which ones we didn't weigh. So we'll take them out of the tote one at a time, weigh them, and then put them back in with Mother. So Peach's litter was really easy to identify. They all have specific markings and they're easy to tell apart. Not so much with Coco's litter. 4 brown piglets and 3 blacks. So we put them in front of the camera and try to get some ear documentation. We pretty much tried to identify them by the shapes of their ears. That worked out until week 1 weigh-in, where their ears started to all look the same. So luckily Kelly had already made some notes of some other markings like pink dots on noses and things like that. We were still able to identify them. One thing we did in the past with Coco's last year's litter was spray some blue coat in a little pan and get a toothpick and dab in it and put dots on the inside of their ears to make them easily identifiable. The drawback to that is the blue coat doesn't last and you got to keep up with it and make sure that the dots stay. Some people do the same thing with fingernail polish. I cannot stand the smell of fresh fingernail polish, and I can't imagine that the pigs do, so we try and avoid using that. So give them a look in front of the camera and write down the ear shapes and stuff. What we did on this is actually day 2. We typically do our initial weigh-in on day 3. However, I was not going to be available on day 3, so this was day 2. You may have noticed there a big pink bulge at the umbilical area. We had several of these piglets that we took some photos of to monitor potential umbilical hernias. A couple days later, everything looked normal, so we're just going to continue to monitor that. So day 3 is also the day that we clip needle teeth. We did not have time to do that on this particular day, so we're going to come back and get it the next day. Also didn't have time to do it, so these piglets are a week and a half old now. We have not clipped their needle teeth. I do not like to do it after week 1, so it's probably not something that we'll do. We'll continue to monitor and make sure that there's no problems with cutting teats and things like that. And so far, we haven't had any issues with that. Right here, not really showing on camera, but we're giving them a pump of iron. Some people do iron injections. We like to do oral iron. And this new product we have, 1 pump equals 1 cc, and that's what they get. And we'll just stick the pump in their mouth and lay it on the back of their tongue and let them swallow themselves. You'll make sure not to stick the pump deep in their throat, because you'll fill up the throat full of iron solution and you could potentially asphyxiate and choke the pig. So we just lay it on top of the tongue and then let them take it from there. So all these piglets in both litters weighed in the 2.5 to 3 pound range. We had a couple of them were over 3 pounds, and for the most part they were all pretty equal in the 2.5 pound range. And you may notice there, this is a little bit older than 48 hours, and the striping on these brown pigs is already starting to combine and turn into one color. We'll zip right through the rest of these pigs. It was more of the exact same procedure. We do the initial weight on day 3. Of course, I mentioned here, this is actually day 2, a little bit older than 48 hours. And then we weigh weekly after that, all the way up to weaning. That allows us to monitor their growth, make sure everything's going well, and identify any areas where we might need to supplement or help these piglets out. So this is what kunekune breeders and owners refer to as death sleeping. This is a little piglet we're calling JJ, and I found him like this one morning, and I thought he was passed away. He was still breathing. I picked him up, 100% limp. Few rubs on his nose, and he came right back to. He turns out he was just sleeping. This was not something I'd ever experienced before or had any knowledge of. Luckily, Kelly did, and everything was just fine. We are monitoring the growth of this piglet. He's not growing very well, and we're going to take a look at that here in a second. So here's little JJ just moments later after I gave him a few rubs on the nose. 100% woke up, comes back out to join the family. So I already mentioned that little JJ is not growing very well. He actually lost weight on our week 1 weigh-in, so we are starting to introduce to him about every 2 hours during the day a little mixture of about 1/3 a cup of goat's milk and powder from our pellet bags. He is starting to pick up a little bit of weight very slowly. It's a situation that we will continue to monitor very closely.
Take a step, little JJ.
Already at a week old, these piglets grow so fast and get so active so quick. Within a week, already setting the pecking order here. So you see a few scuffles taking place amongst these piglets. And this is one of my favorite things about these little kunekune piglets. The number one way to indicate to us that things are going well and going the way we want them to is the agility and the ability to run. And it's something we always like to see. Look how quick these things move around. And we're going to walk around here now and get sooner and make the 44-yard trek from the sow pasture to this farrowing paddock. If you remember back in February, we sowed this with K31, which is Kentucky fescue and 31% clover. I think we nailed around 50% clover. It's just plumb full, looking better than ever. This little farrowing pasture has grass in places we've never had before. We're going to do this in real time and let you see how easy it is to move kunekunes. We always move at feeding times. They'll follow you to the edge of the earth with a bucket of food. This takes about 2.5 minutes. The trek was 44 yards. I measured with my golf rangefinder, and look how easy this goes.
And she knows Pumpkin's been giving Shadow a hard time all day today. Oh, look, she's out here all by herself. Come on, Cindy. Yeah, that's what I figured. Cindy, come on.
Major, come on. Major. Come on, big sooner. Come on. Major.
How convenient was that?
Come on, Santa. Come on. You get too much feed in here. It doesn't shake good enough. Major. That's not. Here.
How you doing?
Not so good. How are you doing?
All right, if she listens to me.
She's a big girl.
Yeah, she's nice for some babies out.
When's she supposed to be due?
Next Monday.
Monday.
Not tomorrow Monday. Week Monday. Come on, girl. Come on.
Here, I'll just.
Come on, girl.
Too much in here to shake. Come on.
Oh, you can go.
You can't eat your plastic. Come on.
Come on, girl. Over here. Almost there.
Sooner.
We're going to make a YouTube video about how easy kunekunes are to move. And, there you go. Right where you now, girl.
Come on. In here. Good
You're
girl.
almost grass.
There we go. Good girl.
Alrighty, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you're looking for Hematite Homestead on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Hit that subscribe button. New piglets on the way any day now.